Ox is a impact-driven startup that works in emerging markets to provide clean, affordable transport to people in rural areas who would otherwise use bicycles or carry things themselves. And to do that, we are a logistics business, but we have our own electric truck, which we've developed ourselves, and also a digital platform that enables us to coordinate the activities of our trucks. Most people in this planet don't really have access to transport. Probably 3 billion people live in countries with low incomes and very low numbers of vehicles. And that fundamentally stops people developing and contributing economically. So our vision is to expand across emerging markets. We want to be operating in most countries in sub-Saharan Africa over the next few years. And we'll do that from a UK base because of the automotive and expertise that we have here. So we're looking for people in literally every role as we grow. 2 years ago there were 2 of us. Today there are about 40. In a year's time we expect to be 100 people. So over the next couple of years we'll be developing our capacity in the UK to build the kits that we then export for local assembly. And to do that we will need apprentices in a range of different skills, primarily kind of mechanical engineering focused, but also in digital areas as well. And so we will be starting to recruit apprentices in September, and then that will accelerate over the following year.
Hi, my name's John. I'm the multi-skilled prototype technician for Ox Delivers. My role is to help the engineers turn the design into the actual product. Mechanical engineering has always been a passion of mine. I think it's something you love it, taking things apart, figuring how stuff works, and then what the training from an apprenticeship gives you is the ability to then put it back together again in a way that it still works, but with a greater understanding. I've been doing it for 20 years and I've got to experience a whole host of things along the way. Depending on which route you take, the job can give you excitement, working in adverse conditions, some nice conditions as well. It's hard work, but it's satisfying work. It's really nice, and if you follow it through and you apply yourself, there is always work for mechanics and technicians.
So I decided I wanted to be an automotive engineer at 14, which is particularly young, I realise, and it was just because I thought I was reasonably good at physics and I really liked cars, and that was where that decision sort of stemmed from. And then went through sort of what routes I could go down. So apprenticeship was something that I looked at, but because most of the automotive industry was based down south in England, it wasn't necessarily the most sensible route, being someone from Scotland without a sort of that general industry up there. So I decided to go to university down here as well, so that I could get more involved in that industry as well, so I could be sort of part of it. For me, looking back on it now, I may have actually been better going down an apprenticeship route, because I feel like I learned better visually and doing things sort of way of learning, rather than what I had did at uni, which I actually did. I struggled with quite a bit, where you had to just sit in a lecture hall and listen to someone talk at you, and that's really good for a lot of people. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy uni, I'm just saying that maybe there was potentially a better path for myself.
Yeah, working for an impact-driven startup is great. You're able to see what you do making a direct impact on people's lives where it really matters. So I've recently been to Rwanda and seen firsthand the challenges they live with there and the potential for growth and improvements from what we can do. And you don't normally get that from an engineering role day to day, so it's a really good feeling.
Obviously, if we're bringing in a 16-year-old apprentice, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to work on health and safety, how to operate in a work environment, both in a workshop and functioning within a team. So we'll cover all sorts of practical skills, such as PPE, correct PPE to be worn, tidying up after yourself, care of tools, care of yourself. And then we'll also be working on teamwork skills, how to communicate with people, how to ask questions is a big one. Some people get very worried about being young and in a new work environment. They're not confident to go and ask the questions. So I have always made a point with my apprentices of saying from day one, ask anything. The old saying is there's no such thing as a stupid question, and it's absolutely true. You've got to ask questions because otherwise you don't find out. And in a good work environment, and I fully intend that to be here, we will take the time to answer any questions you've got, because if you don't know, the only way you're going to find out is by asking.
So the primary place to look is on our website, or alternatively LinkedIn are the two main places, and you can find out more about roles and about the company. But in general, it's worth just keeping an eye on the various social channels to see news about the company, and you can find out more as you go through those.